We're in Geneva, Switzerland, the heart of watchmaking and the birthplace of Biver Watches. A bold new chapter from Jean-Claude Biver, a name that's been etched into the soul of this industry. Jean-Claude brought Blancpain back from the brink, put Omega on Bond's wrist, and led powerhouses like Hublot and Tag Heuer. Now, with decades of influence behind him, he's turning his focus inward, creating something deeply personal. I'm Perri, and this is Rashawn Smith, and together we host Wrist Check Podcast. We've come to Geneva to sit down with Pierre Biver, Jean-Claude's son and partner in this new venture. Together, they're shaping what might just be a final word in a remarkable legacy. Day one, jet lag, but surrounded by good people. The watch industry is a small and tightly knit world. What are you wearing today?
Rashawn convention calendar.
Nice.
Here's Sasha Davidoff, one half of the Davidoff brothers, a duo of vintage and modern watch dealers who've earned the nickname the unofficial mayors of Geneva.
There you go.
What's up,
Morning,
brother?
how are you?
Good to see you.
You too.
His brother Roy is here too, along with our friends Justine and Jessica and a handful of others.
Be careful of him because he's also a black hole of watchmaking. If you start a discussion with him, it's over. I think you two should sit down next to each other.
I'm coming in the car with you.
Yeah, but George is coming in the car with us too. Perfect.
Different backgrounds, different paths, but we're all here for the same thing, an obsession with watches. And this is the Automatique, latest masterpiece from Biver Watches, the brainchild of Pierre Biver. Don't let his age fool you. Pierre's no apprentice. He's the real deal. And today he's taking us to the Valley des Jeux, the beating heart of Swiss watchmaking. We'll visit Dubois de Poix, a legendary movement manufacturer, and see firsthand how these timepieces come to life.
So I asked them to remove the bezel. I mean, they always have a lip.
Yeah.
To remove it, and then there's a centers. I mean, the sub-seconds. I asked them to remove it, make it a sapphire dial.
Beautiful.
So welcome, please have a seat. Enjoy. Can we get you some coffee? Some orange juice?
Yes. You're looking straight at me. Fuck's sake.
You just looked at you and said,
My answer is yes.
No, I had like 3 spots.
Coffee, okay, perfect. How many coffees?
Switzerland has a way of slowing you down. The beauty here, both in the landscape and the culture, encourages a pace of life that feels worlds away from the energy of New York. What's up, my brother?
And it's about to arrive.
Come here.
It's
good to see you.
How are you?
I'm well, I'm better now. Yeah, look at you.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Luxury
You know this
himself.
guy.
Oh, God.
What's up, brother?
How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. So, thank you everybody for being here and for making the trip. I know the road was long and twisty, but we're really happy to have you. And we decided to start this visit with Dubois des Pras, from whom we have 4th generation here, Pascal Dubois. So it's a family-run company, one of the biggest and most important movement manufacturers in Switzerland. You have Raphael, who is the CEO of the company, who will present the visit. David, who is the finance director, so be careful of him.
Please follow us.
At Dubois de Poix, history runs deep. This place is a cornerstone of watchmaking. And hearing that history firsthand from someone like Raphael brings it to life in a way that's hard to put into words. It's not just about watches, it's about craftsmanship, tradition, and a legacy that's been ticking for generations.
So he's the architect of the movement, and you can see that he's still at work. And for those of you who've already seen the movement, you can recognize it, but this is basically how it starts. So it's all CAD powered. You have to bear in mind that this particular movement started from scratch. There's no existing base. We didn't take any ébauche that was already existent. It's all redeveloped, so it's adding to watchmaking a whole new movement. And this is why we decided to co-develop it with Dubois des Pras and to have something that felt really Biver, which we could expand upon architecture, design, language, and also the function and quality of the engineering. It's hard to really differentiate yourself and to try and do things differently, but this is also why we built this caliber in that way, was not necessary because we had the answers straight away, but we knew that building it that way would give us the platform on which we could have that creativity going on. But I don't think our aim is to completely revolutionize anything. And it's not our claim either. We'd rather focus on making things the best. You know, my father always said, you have to be different first, different or unique. And we've added with Biver, or the best.
It's here that we collect for the first time all the components. That's here that we do the first assembly. Here we are not talking about finishing, we are just talking about function. So if we have to change the material, if we have to change the shape, if we have to change the size of something, they are both completely independent and autonomous to do it with what they have here.
You need
This movement is
heavy.
crazy.
The rotor is 22.
Solid rolls of gold,
Yeah, because you need heavier.
Gia-shaped bridges. The rotors are prototypes, so they're probably going to make that precious metal as well, similar to the watch that we saw on his wrist. Master craftsman.
When we talk about functions, and especially for us, what's important to note is all our functions always have to be instantaneous. For instance, a perpetual calendar will be a perpetual calendar that is completely instantaneous, amongst other things, which I won't spoil right now. But you have to imagine that all these functions were thought of before we designed the caliber, so that it would be capable of hosting these functions that are very, very gourmand.
Energy consuming.
Yeah, but gourmand is more charming.
Yes, gourmand.
I don't know what to say in
Gluttony in the
Gluttony is a nice one. Here we have a nice speed camera in order to see what our eyes may not see in the reaction we have by just doing a reset on a piece. So we have here the hurt can, we have the lever coming on, and how does it behave when we push on it. Then we have also some automats here in order to test how does function the moment. You have here a Biver caliber in which we are testing the ability of doing the winding in bi-directional.
Watchmaking is where artistry collides with precision, where raw ingenuity meets meticulous craftsmanship. Watching a movement go from a flicker of an idea to a finely tuned, functioning piece of art is nothing short of awe-inspiring. A true testament to the relentless drive behind the craft. You can't help but stand in awe of what it takes to pull off something this intricate and alive. How long have you been in this business?
Me?
Yeah, you personally.
Personally, 27 years.
Wow.
From the very beginning, after the engineering school, actually.
And you still love it?
And I still love it. And it's a small world.
Yeah.
Everyone know each other, and it's challenging. We have sometimes what we're doing for Biver is something very unusual for us and common, putting us in our limits, and that's what we love also, because otherwise that would be pretty boring.
You lose the interest
at the end it's just watches.
Right.
If you regard the things, it's just watches bringing time, and we don't need it because we all have this.
You have the modern pocket watch today, yeah.
Exactly, but what we put here inside is so different. It's
passion,
so much more.
love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The Swiss have a thing for fondue. And honestly, who wouldn't love melted cheese you can eat on a stick? Am I right? We ducked out for a quick lunch in the mountains. Good food, good company, and just the right amount of pretending not to burn my mouth on a too hot dip. It's the kind of conversation that feels right in a place like this, especially when you're surrounded by the faint sound of cowbells. Geneva's got a rhythm to it, and I think I'm starting to get it, though it might just be the cheese talking. Just outside of Geneva, tucked behind a simple farmhouse, a quiet revolution is happening. This is where Biver Watches are born. This space, once humble, now hums with a sense of intimacy and craftsmanship. It's like a watchmaker's commune.
Do you see this that we added that I made the artistic direction for? Carillon, tourbillon, Automatique.
Oh, cool.
Short movie, 15 minutes. But you know, we tried to bring an artistic touch and being it very documentary. So yeah, just enjoy.
Freedom that is quite motivating. Because who doesn't want to become eternal?
Applause the director.
And now it's time to get our hands dirty. This isn't just watchmaking, this is artistry in motion, a crystallization of the Biver family's relentless pursuit of something that outlasts time itself.
If you're wondering where the cloth came from, I bring my own.
It's light or it's functional.
So what's really cool is
So
that
it doesn't stretch.
it's also, it's got stone inlays underneath the minute repeater lever. So you can see it underneath there, and then when you bring it back there, and now you'll see these just in a second.
So here is because it's
Count the time.
you cannot just otherwise you end up hitting the place where there's a stone. So
I'm not normally a gem set guy, but this is nice. Absolute eater.
But let's not forget, the Swiss don't just excel in making watches, they've got hospitality down to an art form too. And tonight, as old friends arrive on the farm, we're treated to a night of damn good food and even better stories.
Kindness and warmth.
No, not at all.
You guys radiate.
We try our best.
And you succeed.
So much.
Sometimes.
Oh my God, Pierre, this is so nice. That dial is so nice. I mean, you know how I feel about multi-finish dials. This is beautiful application. Great lugs. You did a nice angle there. You didn't have to go that far. You're like, we like the 1579, but let's push it. Let's push it.
It's funny, we went to the design inspiration, and I would say the two main references are 2523 and 3448 for the lugs.
I can see that. But so many people haven't seen a real 3448 with unpolished lugs. Shut up. This is what I knew was coming. Your dad gave me a sense of it, but as you and I know, it doesn't matter how integrated we are into the universe. It doesn't matter how much we can look at a CGI, how much we can look at a rendering, until the work is done and cased up. It's like the painting, right? Like it's before that point, it's like the art in the artist's mind. Until it's on the canvas,
100%.
and it's its own space, man. It's tribute, and you can see references, and you can see love, but it's not derivative. That's its own identity. And stakes are high after you launch with a freaking sonorama. You better come strong.
Because at the end of the day, as stunning as these watches are, they're just that, watches. What gives them life are the people who make them, the ones who wear them, and the tales that come alongside them.
Thank you for having us.
So Leonis, who's welcoming us kindly today, and an artist, genius, and the best. And we're fortunate to have him because I was unsure if he could be with us, and I'm super happy that you're here. Thank you for everything.
My English is perfect, but I understand. But to speak is better, Pierre. Welcome in Europe, and it's the first time in Europe in this
region.
In this region, yes.
Yes. It's the best region of Switzerland. After Geneva.
The movement is the heart of the watch, but even the heart needs a body. Today, we're stepping inside of Biver's case manufacturer to see how these sculptural forms come to life. The whole area around Geneva is like a patchwork quilt of watchmaking traditions. Each neighborhood, each workshop with its own soul. I understand that like this whole region is known for making cases. I was kind of curious, like, was there something that happened historically or any kind of rhyme or reason why so much of the manufacturing process is regional?
So before it used to be Geneva. Geneva was a hub of case making. And then over time it changed, and mainly because of rooms like we're in, because most of the machines you see here are made in Switzerland in this region. So it made sense that case makers get closer to their micro suppliers that make the cases.
What we're doing now is hand finishing the lugs. So there's a two-step process. You use an eraser and you use a sandpaper-like stick to get that nice brushed satin finish. It's all done by hand. You would think that it's easy, but it's quite difficult. Watch me go next.
All these machines that you see with long sort of things behind, they're for small screws or crowns.
Okay.
And basically, the material, instead of coming as a block, it comes as a bar. It goes into the machine, as you can see. The tube comes out, and the machine works on the tube. So, for instance, we make the screw, and they start by milling the head, and then they cut down the tube, and then they make the thread, and then they chop it off, and it falls down into the machine in here. And here you have all what is for the crowns. So this is a stamp with a 3-ton weight in there.
Okay.
And you put the crown in, press it, and directly. Here you have the heavy-duty polishing.
Okay.
The decorator will use his paste here to rectify the different paste and depending on the finishing you want to have. Here, when I say heavy-duty, it's because it's used with automated machines. Right next door, everything is handmade. So here's a bit of a in-between.
Blend between machine and person.
And so usually they would start for the heavy duty here, and for everything that's more fine-tuned, they would go in this part. After you.
Thank you.
Rebonjour. So here we have the fine finishing of cases. So we can see they're working on the case bands. You have this little file on which you stick some of abrasive paper, and then slowly you go and make the satin finishing. You cannot just take the paste and do it once.
Right.
To get the right thing, you have to start to prepare the material. So you go with the hardest grain.
And you work your way down.
Interesting. Because like this, if you go straight away with the hardest grain will give you the visual aspect, but it won't give you the texture. Will be not nice. When you pass your hand, you'll feel that it's rough.
Yeah.
So first they do the very deep one, and then they kind of even it out so it feels high end. And this is done by, all manual process, and you can see some of the case shapes that are very famous that are done here. And like you can see, it's really about finely going, and you have to have the right angle.
So when you make sort of like the first prototype, and you guys agree on the finishing, that then that's brought here? Is that done with them originally, or you?
So all prototypes are done here.
Got it. So they're presenting you guys with prototype 1, 2, 3. You make your decision, and then that is like the standard.
Exactly.
Got it.
It's amazing the work they do here.
Touring this space, I can't help but notice the power of collaboration. Pierre's team has handpicked the best of the best to bring his vision to life. And you can tell it's not just about making money, it's about creating something that matters. This is a brotherhood born of shared passion.
I like birds.
From here, we're back to Geneva, where Rashawn and I are headed for a very special dinner reservation. Tonight, we've got something really special. A chance to sit down with Dominique, the head chef at FP Journe Le Restaurant. the very place he created with the legendary watchmaker himself, François-Paul Journe. Dominique, thank you for sitting with us this evening. The name FP Journe brings up many feelings. It brings up many ideas. Very few of them have to do with food. I'm curious, how did this place come to be?
Ce restaurant est la rencontre de deux artisans. Un horloger, l'artisanat de l'horlogerie, haute horlogerie, et l'autre de la gastronomie. Et moi, j'aime beaucoup les montres, et Monsieur Journe adore la gastronomie. Et donc, voilà, c'est à la rencontre de Monsieur Journe et de moi qui a fait ce restaurant.
What does this mean for the patrons that come here? Do you find that most of the people are already fans of the watch brand and they want to see some sort of experience within the restaurant world?
Il y a plusieurs formes de clientèle. Une clientèle qui aime se faire plaisir avec une cuisine, une expérience conviviale, avec une cuisine qui est gourmande. Ça, c'est très important pour nous. Une clientèle qui est là pour business, ok, mais une clientèle aussi qui vient parce que Monsieur Journe a fait un restaurant. Donc on a trois sortes de clientèle, mais si vous voulez, ces trois sortes de clientèle, ce sont après, ça fait qu'une quoi. Ils viennent tous pour la même chose. C'est pour le bien-être, c'est pour la convivialité, c'est pour l'atypique du restaurant. Parce qu'on voit que le restaurant est devenu, c'est un petit musée. Hein, c'est un restaurant qui a été classé, donc tout ce que vous voyez autour de vous, c'est classé depuis 50 ans.
In visiting the restaurant, it's nothing but an amazing experience. I'm curious to know if there's opportunities in the works for more experiences, more restaurants to open. Are there any cities or countries that spike the interest of yourself and Mr. Journe?
On a déjà des propositions pour faire ce lieu une réplique, mais notre vœu, c'est de, vous savez, tout ce qui est unique, tout ce qui est très rare est recherché. Et donc de multiplier les choses, mais disons que ça peut être très, très dangereux. Notre prochain projet avec Monsieur Journe, c'est d'associer l'horlogerie et la gastronomie, mais dans un livre. Et donc, j'avais déjà écrit un livre il y a 10 ans, et là, on est en train de le rééditer avec le monde de l'horlogerie, donc avec mes recettes et le côté horlogerie. Et la question de peut-être faire un restaurant à Londres, à Singapour, en Thaïlande, on nous a proposé, voilà, peut-être aux États-Unis. Pour l'instant, on n'a pas encore 1 an d'ouverture. C'est juste 8 mois. Donc, il faut peut-être un peu attendre pour après peut-être en faire d'autres. Mais on n'a pas dit non encore. On veut vraiment que ce restaurant à Genève fasse son chemin pour peut-être faire quelque chose d'autre. Voilà.
You're wearing one of the most coveted watches in the world, the FP Journe Le Restaurant Elegante. How did this come to be? How many of you here have one of these? And what does it feel like to own it?
Alors, cette montre est née donc, en début d'année, d'accord, 2024. Et elle a été fabriquée et imaginée par François-Paul pour le restaurant. Vous les avez juste au restaurant, ces montres. Et c'est pour ça que la montre s'appelle FP Journe Le Restaurant. C'est la couleur des boîtes de couteaux, c'est la couleur du vin, c'est la couleur des sièges, vous voyez, voilà. Et c'est pour ça que le cadran, il est unique. Et donc, la mienne, j'ai eu la première montre, voilà. Et après, tout mon staff ont une montre FP Journe Le Restaurant. Et elles ne sont pas en vente. Elles seront peut-être en vente, quelques-unes, très peu, à la fin de l'année, pour les meilleurs clients. Enfin, les clients les plus assidus. Et il y en a très très peu. Il y en aura très très peu.
Most important question. We're here. We've got friends, family around the table. We're going to eat. What should we order?
Les spécialités de François-Paul Journe. François-Paul a des plats emblématiques. On a parlé ensemble et je lui ai demandé ses goûts. Et ces goûts, j'ai essayé de les retransmettre avec ma cuisine. Voilà. Et vous avez des plats emblématiques. FP Journe, sur la carte, c'est marqué les préférés de FP Journe. Mais je vais pouvoir vous faire découvrir aussi les produits du terroir et les plats phares de Monsieur Journe.
Mr. Gauthier, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure.
C'est un plaisir.
Appreciate you.
C'est un plaisir de vous accueillir.
Thank you.
Merci. Profitez bien. Voilà. Et essayez de. Maintenant, vous êtes là pour la soirée, pour déguster et pour passer un très bon moment au restaurant FP Journe.
FP Journe.
FP Journe Restaurant.
Restaurant.
Our family doesn't go back to generations for watches, but for generations of shoes.
It doesn't matter though.
No, it
It's
doesn't
always
matter.
like keeping that connection, you know?
It doesn't
to the past.
matter. Of shoes, of Swiss shoes.
So you know
No,
if this,
Luxembourg's.
Bali, no,
Listen,
Bali. The
if
brand.
this watch stuff doesn't work out for you guys, you can always go back to shoes, you know? Give it your best shot, you know?
Today's shoe industry is tough.
Sorry, hello.
Yes. Good to see
Good
you
to
again.
have you here.
Yes.
Thank you for being here. Huh?
Absolutely.
Hey, my friend, long time no see. Huh? Hello, lovely to meet you too.
So if everybody's okay, we'll start the visit, and then we'll have all the time this afternoon and for lunch together. I want you to see now all the watches. So this farm is a farm from the 1800s. Nothing much has changed, as you can see from the architecture. I'm not sure, but probably is like a heritage space, and you cannot do any types of works you want on the farm. We chose this place because of the atmosphere. It really suits this traditional watchmaking kind of vibe. You're in a real farm next to Geneva, very convenient for media, clients, and to be connected to the city.
And what is interesting is the light that the trees are giving us. Mm-hmm. Normally the tree is giving you shade and darkness, but your green, that's incredible.
Yeah.
You see, it is luminous.
Yeah.
But I just saw it now. I mean, it's incredible.
It's gorgeous.
You're a marketing genius, so
No. Yes, you can say at Biver we saw the first tree that was luminous.
Not really.
So as you can see, for the past 2 days, I've been telling you of like the very transparent, easy approach. Now you'll have the more theatrical one. So please come in.
Maybe inspiration for a dial.
Yes.
But they made the green down already, you see?
Oh.
Yeah.
No, but not the same. It was not luminous. Non, mais t'es d'accord, c'est incroyable la lumière.
We've seen how the movements come to life, and we've watched the cases take shape. Now it's time to see the final step, assembly. But first, I sit down with Roy Davidoff, our vintage watch dealer buddy, to chat about the Biver legacy. What's this moment mean for you? Because I know you know them both pretty intimately.
So it's quite interesting. I remember very clearly the past, I'm going to say 19 years following Jean-Claude's career. Whenever he did a speaking engagement, I always tried to go and listen to him speak.
Yeah.
So it was always very interesting. And every time I'd listen to him, I'd remember like one or two key phrases. And a few of them I carry still till today, every time I present a watch or every time I talk about anything.
Okay.
And one of them, he said, is know your truths. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Know your truths. One of the reasons why I do a lot of deep dives into everything my brother and I sell is that when people come, I can answer every question they have.
Yeah.
And I love when people stump me, so I have to like dig into it again. So this trip for me is a lot of fun because I know I've been following Pierre, I've been friends with him for about 5 years now.
Yeah.
And following the birth of the brand and the career that he had before. And what's really fun is that you can see all the work that they've put into doing something, not like everybody else,
Yeah.
but thinking of the future,
Yeah.
the past, what we can do today.
I think the cool thing for me to kind of witness too was the fact that that spirit that exists within the Biver organization trickles its way, where there's at least a shared spirit between them and their partners.
Yes.
So when we visited the movement maker, when we visited the case maker,
Yeah.
it all felt like family.
So that's the right keyword. You said family. I remember, like in my family, all from the jewelry side, we worked sometimes with 3 different generations. Like I know my father worked with some people's fathers, them, and then their sons.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that in this industry or in the watchmaking, very often you have that. So in this particular case, you can see the great-grandson of the founder
Yeah.
heading the company.
I know, it's awesome.
And I love that because today it's 2 generations of Bivers
Yeah.
heading their company.
My brother, it's always a pleasure.
Ah, yeah, same here.
So welcome.
His dad is awesome.
Here we start off our visit, and the first part we're going to see is our decoration atelier. So you can see that both ateliers are completely distinct. We have our 3 decorators here, which is headed by Khalid, and we have Lamia and Maria that joined us. We can see that they're working, both Maria and Lamia and Khalid, on rotors. So they're doing the beveling, they're doing the étirage, the satin finishing, the perlage as well on the rotors, with artisanal tools, just as you would see them in other types of traditional finishing, high-end finishing atelier.
On a good day, how many can
Of
you
these
do?
bridges?
Yeah.
Not even one.
Really?
Yeah, not one.
I think 11 hours for this bridge.
Wow.
For just one.
For just one.
Literally, there's no compromise.
Yes.
And everybody here is conscious, and I think Khalid is actually the first one here. If he's not happy with the piece, he doesn't even show it to us.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Nice finishing.
Yeah.
Make a watch with so many details.
I know, it's crazy. It's very ambitious, but somehow they're doing it.
This is the whole point, is that everything you see here can be done by machine.
Yeah. Like they're still choosing to do it by hand.
Because when the prestige, for example, when you buy like a Rolls Royce and it's the double hand stitching of
Yes.
the chairs, or the machine stitching for like cheaper vehicles,
Yeah.
we're using the finest materials with the finest artisans. So it's okay, they're finished parts. Now they'll have to go back to Khalid to check that he didn't scratch them. Holy shit. So move them slowly because the containers are quite soft and you don't want them to jump out.
Yeah, the beveling is like so precise. It's crazy to be able to work under these conditions like this.
To see this at a microscopic level is impressive.
So here we entered the watchmaking atelier with both Sandrine, our master watchmaker. She's been with us since the start. We've been at war together. And Mathieu, who is a fantastic addition to the team.
Listening to Pierre, it's clear he's not just riding on the coattails of his family's legacy. He's out there blazing his own trail and creating his own legacy. I think I can speak for everyone when I say we're grateful to be on this journey with him. The man's passion for watchmaking is contagious, and it shows in every word he speaks. And when you see the watches he's producing, you can tell it's all coming together quite beautifully.
And here we have a few tests that we did on other types of stone.
Oh, shit. What's the green one?
Which green one?
All the way at the end?
That's a mother of pearl.
Is that what you want, Adam?
We have a few dials like this one that we did, which is the guilloche with rubies, some of the minute repeater dials, and you can see from this the perlage, which is underneath. It's really important for us to have decoration all over. Again, the master of quality. And here we have some dials, like the Peter side that is used in the series. And then we have some other prototype dials, again, with the same type of finishing underneath. We have obsidian, serpentine, and sodalite that won't be produced in series, but that we made prototypes of to see. And yeah, obviously the heavy hitter is the watch that Perri is wearing. We're very conscious of that, and we've been Peter side.
Peter side. Like Pierre, like Pierre. So it's in French, stone is Pierre. Peter means Pierre, and his name is Pierre.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
The bracelet is awesome. I like the clasp too. Yeah. Super comfortable.
Yeah, it's a really
It's really nice.
This is what I love about going from the repeater to the time only. I think that they were able, since they did like a everything watch, and then they went back down to basics. I think this is, and it was really truly vintage inspired, so the proportions completely come alive.
Yeah,
it's a smaller case. And I'm completely smitten. That's why next year I should have one.
Yeah.
So, Pierre, can you tell me where the inspiration comes from for the dial choices that you use?
So it's very much influenced by aesthetics in terms of the stones to get the effect we want to produce. Then it's also always looking into stones that are not used often. Mm-hmm. So petersite and obsidian for this first atelier series are also stones that are not that common to see. Yes. And we try to balance rarity and aesthetics.
Yeah.
As the trip slips into its final hours, the drinks are flowing and the conversations are getting heavier. Rashawn pulls up a chair, locking eyes with the man himself, Jean-Claude Biver. It's not just a chat about watches, it's about legacy, what's been built and what's yet to come.
You had a beautiful short film. You speak of passing the torch, and you speak of eternity, and you speak of the future and you living on. You said, I did my part if I pass the torch. It's for you to run and take it all the way to the finish line. And in speaking with Pierre, I could only imagine how proud you are for him to be such a young guy, but to be able to understand the business, to be able to keep the right people around him, his thought process and thinking about what's better for not only yourself, but the end consumer. I want to ask you, how do you feel about, this last hurrah, your victory lap in creating the Biver brand?
I feel extremely proud about my son. That's an enormous pleasure that brings me a lot of tranquility, because I know one day he will take over and he will do better than me. Any transition can happen when you first make a transmission.
Yes.
You must first transmit.
Yes.
Before you do the transition.
Yes.
And I am proud that Pierre has been able to receive all this from me, but not to repeat like me, but to adapt to his generation, to his mentality, which is the mentality of the future. So my transmission is very generous in the way that I don't want copy of me. I'm existing. Why should you copy me?
Yes.
And why should I copy myself? So the transmission is extremely important.
Yes.
And I'm working. That is my goal. To live, my goal is to die. And my goal is to live. But not before I have transmitted.
Wow.
After I have transmitted.
Yes.
And if you have a goal like that, the eternity is yours.
Wow.
The eternity is your friend.
Yes.
And I say to eternity, come, stay, live.
Yes. That's amazing.
And that's maybe my secret, or let's say that's my mentality.
Yes. It's been such a pleasure to speak with you. Your passion, it's very infectious. When you speak, you take the air out of the room. You're able to inspire and influence and trailblaze and put so many people in the position of winning. And so I want to give you your flowers and thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. This has been a pleasure.
I thank you for making compliments to me.
But it's all
because
true.
I am still very sensitive when people are talking like you do. You just did. The compliment you made to me is touching me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
And of course, no trip to Switzerland would be truly complete without a dose of Wrist Check Pod. And this is one you don't want to miss. Sitting down with Pierre Biver. It's not just a podcast, it's history in the making. And this one's got weight to it. You can feel it. This trip, it's been a ride. Watching hands shape metal, gears clicking into place, a legacy unfolding before us. The Biver name isn't just about making watches, it's about passing something down, an obsession, a philosophy, a story that outlives the storyteller. But here's the thing, the watches, they're just the surface. Beneath the polished cases and perfect movements, there's something deeper, culture, history, the people who breathe life into these machines. A watch doesn't just tell time, it tells a story, worn and rewritten with every scratch and every hand that fastens it to its wrist. And as we step away, we know this isn't an ending, it's a thread in something bigger, something still unraveling. The craft, the passion, the pursuit. It doesn't stop, and it never has.